and our picture to a shrine, to an altar for evil, let it backfire on them. Let it backfire in the name of Jesus. Anyone that speak ill and evil of your people, let their tongue be silenced. Let their tongue cleave to the root of their mouth. Anyone that speak evil of us, let their voice be discredited and silenced. Discredited and silenced. Anyone that imagine ill or evil of us by divine authority on the grounds of the blood of Jesus, according to the scriptures, as this is written, I command, let it boomerang, boomerang, boomerang. Put your hands and say boomerang, 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 boomerang.
Yeah, that's what I believe. See his sunshine, he's all around us. And there are beautiful clouds where you are. That's how I know that these worries will not last. I can see you've been crying and staying wide awake, asking yourself why the journey is so tough. They say tough times never last, only tough people do. So don't stop believing, I know it's gonna be better. Say la, 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 ba-dum, ba-dum, boom, la, 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 ba-dum. Can't be loved by everybody, it's impossible, you know. And trust me, it's okay, so let the toxic people go. Your peace within is more priceless than a pearl. You got to be happy, cause life's just way too short. Don't stress the little things, they will only waste your time. Just take it easy, easy like a nursery rhyme. And I'm singing, I know it's gonna be okay. So I wanna see you smile today. Hey, you just gotta be happy, man. Good days, bad days, it's all part of life. But you must keep the groove on and enjoy every single day. I'm sure you've had some happy days before. So what makes you think you can't have more? Keep on fighting and you'll see. You will soon see rainbows. Hey, come on! La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Ba-dum, ba-dum, boom. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Ba-dum, ba-dum, boom. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Ba-dum, ba-dum, boom. La, 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 la. La, 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 la. Around the way. Beautiful clouds, where you are, where you are. There are beautiful clouds, where you are, where you are. Oh, oh.
The politician will never solve your problem. The politician will never solve your problem. You can say whatever you like about Kwame Plus. Look, today we go to parliament and people read statements about the flooding. You see, where Jalabia we are their house. That statement where they go read about flood, what it will cost. At their house, where Jalabia. What will it do to this country? The problem will be only the politician. It be us. We built drainage for this country for 6 million people. It included Tema. Today, as we speak, Tema starts, they show signs of flooding. And some areas they flood because the drainage where we built for 6 million people, today, it serves 35 million people. And they expect, say, when the rain come, make it go. And the 35 million people, not be say everybody follow some law or some order. Everybody just put in house where he wants. Look, in this country where we dey, it be people they create community before government they bring road. Now same way what to do we are that. Is there a place in this world where the people enter the bush? Amasama Pukwase, Oyarefa, Adan, this whole Adan road, this area, Winneba Kaswa area. It be the people they enter there. Dodowa, it be the people where they go there. They go create a community before government go bring road and utility. But we have town planning in this country. The only thing we go solve this whole problem where people die, where it hurt me say people die. We say we could demolish a lot of houses. But how are we going to do that? Where are they going? Where should they go? Where was the state when we were doing all of this? If they open the Wager Dam today and we're looking at the rain and the level where the thing they go open them or make the dam blast. If it blast, that kind of things will go happen. So we're not going to make the dam blast. So if we open them, so people that get ready, a lot they can happen for there.
We've been hit by tragedy, and this is a tragedy for all of Ghana. It isn't a tragedy just for Accra or here in Botiana and Glacier Mamfro. It is a tragedy for all of Ghana. And the flooding, as we have seen, has caused a lot of damage. We've lost lives. In fact, as I have arrived here, I'm told that there is a dead body that has yet to be picked up. We are calling on the authorities, NADMO and the police to come together and make sure that the dead body is picked up. It's really unbelievable that it hasn't been done since yesterday. And I plead with the police and NADMO to come together to pick up this dead body, and I think that is just something that has to be done without anything. But I think that at the end of the day, I want Ghanaians, all of us, to come together. I don't want what is happening to break down into a partisan battle amongst the parties. There's a real issue of flooding facing Greater Accra region. And that issue is something that requires immediate and urgent solutions. And I think that is where we should focus on. How do we solve the problem? We shouldn't get into blame games. We should focus on how we can quickly solve the problems. What is worrying for me is that the forecasts are forecasts of even more rain to come. And if this is going to be more rain, I believe that the government could also consider even declaring a state of emergency, so that we deal with this in that particular format, that a state of emergency is declared, because this is a real big problem for this country, and we have to put all our energies, all our talents, all the engineers, all the hydrologists, we have to bring everybody together, regardless of party, because this is for Ghana, and let us do it for Ghana. Let us come together for Ghana and solve this problem for our country. And so that is where I want to ask everybody, let's do this together and let's provide relief, immediate relief to the people who are affected. People need food, people don't have clothes, people don't have mattresses. Let us make sure that we come immediately to their aid to do that. Everybody should do something. Myself, I will try and help in the small way I can with some of these relief items. But I think that we are a country, our country people, our communities are in need, and we should all chip in to come and help them in this. It is a sad situation. It's a human story that we should look at. We should look at the solutions to it, but I think it's fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Limited. As a company, no, look, that is not journalism. I mean, they cannot just say, yeah. The Manasseh Azure wouldn't yena for more than almost 10 years. Ogusu anadwin nyina ne say, opeso bring Zoom Lion Ghana Limited down. It will go nowhere. It should stop the silly things and let us focus and build this nation. I mean, we all sit on radio and TV and criticize government contracts. Right?
Yes.
The purpose and the objective ni nyina no and they say, look, a buying individual company be eco signing agreement. We must ensure that the country will benefit. Until we criticize here, you criticize it to ensure say review necessary ni ye. They cannot just say. Manasseh Azure wouldn't, and he was writing a lot of rubbish on Facebook. Let me ask Manasseh Azure say, "Anopeya ye kase, ala jobola na ababegu no, One of the baba bese sada. When Manasseh Azure wouldn't come from his house and clean the street of Accra, right? Assemblies now must see emphasis kani mo no cleaning, na sanitation enye yen. Would the assemblies have the capacity? Ala jogata ni muna and nei bola na ye mumman. Who will go and clean it? Sometimes you so microphobia so near Masuana near Mana Jinsem. Realistically, Zoom Lion Ghana Limited or near buying air sign contractor. What the two see government official between Swana? When government of Ghana be any tender process, near go through procurement. Obi the two obiso. If you think Zoom Lion Ghana Limited is short-changing Ghana through contractor when you are buying what? Why not nice in negotiating contract?
Yeah, buying.
Why have you deliberately decided say you bring down a company, an indigenous company? Are you okay? Which company do we have in this country? Also, what capacity are obe cleaning our environment? Bola ya ensure to ya expose ye ni nyina no. Manasseh Azure wuni say or company ye the contract man ye man adwuma obetimi aye cleaning the street of Accra any Ghana. Please respectfully and some hunu bi ho no ma ye nyai some pull him down attitude deliberately consistently my ye sadie we ya for so many years. Zoom Lion onye perfect onye angel but then just under 1 year you cancel the contract in we are seeing the effect as a country.
Yeah.
And then why is Manasseh Azure winning? And he sit on Facebook and still has the audacity to be writing nonsense. Respectfully, Mama Yan can Ukrainian fan trail. And the ball and go on why necessary baller. Why? Sweeper na no proper intentional. And the Zoom Lion determine how much we should pay that sweeper. Is it Zoom Lion? And the government of Ghana negotiated contract agreement. Why do we do this to ourselves? Mumra message bola no airfare. I mean, se bola no airfare. What pra bola ni we are for go bedroom. Bola no see a pre we na airfare. We are not their kogu bedroom. Now they are decorated because airfare. Why do you keep treating ourselves like this? Respectfully, Yeah, national debate. Yeah, discussing national issues. We bring issues SCA a hinterman for no near the Abania exposes some of the things. But tell me which editorial policy around the world in media practice, and for almost a decade, obey what they say, who target one company back, what do you want to achieve? What do you intend to achieve? A editorial policy, and I said, yeah. Respectfully, and Yamunkwana Mundim Yansa in this country. And on mine in your back for dia.
Hundreds of households are submerged, and the waste that is coming from their household. When we realized, we quickly came in as a social corporate responsibility to come and help them clear the waste that they have. We want to do this quick and fast because if we don't take care, we would have so many outbreaks of diseases, because we have other animals also being affected. We could see on our tour, we could see cows and fowl all in the drains, and they were dead. So if we don't quickly clear it, it will cause so many havoc and diseases around. That's why, as a corporate social responsibility, Zoomlion Ghana Limited, with its partners, NADMO, FEDEMS, and Dredge Masters, decided to come and help them in this direction. Hundreds of households are submerged, and the waste that is coming from their household. When we realized, we quickly came in as a social corporate responsibility to come and help them clear the waste that they have. We want to do this quick and fast because if we don't take care, we would have so many.
All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you very much for joining the show. And you're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My name is Audu Moro. It's always a pleasure to come your way. It's a beautiful Thursday morning. This indeed is a day the Lord has made. Today is 2nd of July 2026. I want to say a big thanks to Almighty God for making it possible for us to return here to join the nation's conversation on the big issues, the most important issues that are making the rounds in our dear country, Ghana. I also want to say a big thanks, as always, to you, our loyal, cherished, and distinguished audience, for tuning in every day from Monday to Friday and watching, and in some cases listening, depending whether you're watching TV or you're listening to radio, which is 94.1 FM. I've also said to you time and again that, I've seen the last few weeks that based on your requests, you have been inundating us with calls to give you a more reliable WhatsApp message, because what has been happening in the past is that most of the messages come through our personal phones, but depending on the relationship you have with the person, we're moving away from that, and so we now have a more reliable contact number. And so please take this number and write it down, or you can just punch it on your phone so that you can express your thoughts as well. It's 055-863-9114. 055-863-9114. Now, do two things. Share your views with us, or send us videos of issues in your community and contributing to the discussions on the show. So those are the two key things. You share your views by contributing to discussions on the show, or send us videos of issues in your community. So that's the number in your short, 0558-639-114. Let me say a big thanks and kudos to some of you who have been doing just that. You've been sending us your community videos, some of which we've been playing. But as you do know, the flooding, the rain, and its attendant issues with the flooding and so on and so forth is we're paying a lot more attention to that. And so some of those videos, we'll be playing them, at the right time or later. Let me just put it that way. That's not to say today is not the right time, but we're saying that today, therefore, all mind and focus and attention is on the flooding situation. That's why we're doing all the flooding videos. So bear with us. If you have a peculiar problem in your community, you've sent us a video or pictures, and we're not talking about it. We've not ignored you at all. It is not like we haven't seen it. We have. We would be showing then when we're discussing it at the right time. So please be patient with us. So let me just go straight ahead and look at what the papers are reporting today. And I'll start with the Daily Graphic, as I always do. So the Daily Graphic this morning is reporting the president leads the nation in prayer. There's also Odo River drainage contract terminated, Works Minister tells Parliament. Government releases 350 million cedis for flood intervention. And the Daily Graphic is reminding all of us that tomorrow it will not publish and also Saturday as well. It's in observance of the Republic Day holiday. Publication will resume on Monday, July 6, 2026. And so readers may, however, visit www.graphic.com.gh and our social media platform during the break for the latest news, features, and other articles. We wish all our readers a happy and peaceful Republic Day. There's also NIB bounces the profits past. Congratulations to the Dolewura for doing a good job. Dolewura doing a good job. Congratulations. Anyway, so the Daily Searchlight says that the Dolewura is MD for NIB. For those of you who don't know, that's his name. That's how he's affectionately called. The Daily Searchlight says flooding. Ghana's politicians have failed Dr. Asa Asante. Accra flooding, a national security threat. Henry Kwote and also Sahel extremist groups are advancing southward towards Ghana, according to Ghana's military. That's with today's Daily Searchlight. Now, the B&FT says that inflation climbs to 5.3% as non-food prices drive uptick. Tour in recapitalization talks with government over 1.6 billion cedis ESLA receivables. Africa's electricity tariff puzzle. Why some consumers pay more, others pay less, and what policy must fix. You also have ending child involvement in illegal mining, a policy-driven pathway for protection and sustainable development. It is Newmont supports the University of Ghana Health Services with critical medical equipment. Enterprise grows insurance. A revenue 10% raises dividend despite lower profits. All right, so that's for the Business and Financial Times. Now, let's check out the Ghanaian Times. The Ghanaian Times says, aftermath of Monday's floods, President calls for a new Ghanaian, preaches shift in mindset and attitudes. Police arrest 4, seize firearms, suspected narcotics in Mankraso. There's a Black Stars Colombia clash. It's a make or break affair. There's illegal miners invade Agenda 111 hospital site at Adansia Sukwa. Abba. I asked them all. Mobile money driving SME growth, improving access to credit, according to MMFL. Daily Guide, it says Galamseyers invade Adansia Sukwa Agenda 111 hospital site. Joanna Kwe sues Renac, that's Richard Niyama Kwe, of Bill's microcredits for fraud. There's Dada Joe remix, pleads guilty in $4.4 million, a romance scam. There's Parliament ratifies 6 bilateral agreements. There's cars, bodies float in water 3 days after deadly flood. The Daily Guide is also informing us that following the declaration of Friday as a public holiday in commemoration of Republic Day, which fell on July 1, the Daily Guide will not be on the news stands. The insight is what I want to end with. It says the Republic Day, SMG demands people's control over economy and a socialist state. Ghana's economy among Africa's best performance, according to President Mahama. Ghana Medical Trust Fund takes major step to guarantee access to life-saving medicines. No more rhetoric. Parliament demands action to end Ghana's flooding crisis. SMC launches 2026 malaria chemo prevention campaign, targets 3.3 million children. There's tension brews in Sogakope over planned chieftaincy installation. Burkina Faso severs diplomatic relations with France, signs neo-colonial ambitions. That's with today's Insight newspaper. So let me go to Metro TV Online. It says Black Stars express gratitude to Rhode Island and Ghanaian community in New England for supporting during World Cup games. And there's also for support during World Cup stay. FIFA World Cup 2026 10-man USA beat Bosnia to set up Belgium clash. And as Belgium beat Senegal 3-2 to reach World Cup last 16. What a mouth-watering and a very interesting game that was yesterday. England nearly came through to the round of 16, but for momentary lapse in concentration, which has been like a bane of the African teams. They do so well, they get to the final stages of the competition, and then they lose concentration, and then they get punished for it. It's unfortunate. Let's now talk about what the quote cards are saying. So what are the quote cards saying? My favorite part of the show is what the quote cards are saying is more than 6,000 Security Service applicants tested positive for illicit drugs. Interesting. As reported by MetroTVOnline.com, there's also perennial flooding. Zoomlion partners comments phase 3 of No Do campaign. No Do campaign. All right, so there's also still MetroTVOnline.com. USAI firm plans to train millions of Ghanaians. All right, so it looks to some George and these people are going to get very, very busy. There's weak laws are holding Africa's climate growth back. That's the picture in short. The Energy Minister, Energy and the Green Transition Minister, John Jinapo, we call him JJ. There's also Health Minister towards flood-hit areas, the curb disease risk is also right there. Metro TV Online, there's transport inflation jumps to 9.1% as bars, structural fares become biggest driver of June price increases. And there's also inflation rises to 5.3% in June, but remains far below last year's level. All right, so that's what the quote cards have been saying. And you know the best quote cards in Ghana now? It's Metro TV Online quote cards. You're not going to get it better than that. One of my guests, in fact, my guests are seated. We'll kickstart our conversation. But let me remind you that the Good Morning Ghana show is brought to you by Metro Digital. Metro Digital, and they're proudly associated by AH Cafe. I know I've been promising you to send your number so that you want to order your food. That's if you want to take out. But if you want to dine in, you can still call and come. You can just walk through. It's just right here on the premises of the Ignite Media Group, Metro Television, owners of Metro Television. Just come in, take coffee, have a taste. You'd love it. I've never seen a food taste so good and yet so affordable. I'm not saying it's cheap, but it's very affordable. Affordable as in compared to the other ones in town. This one tastes much better, and yes, it's so cheap. Well, not cheap, it's so affordable. Yes, it's so affordable. Stay with us. It's Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. Don't go anywhere.
Tanumo onunchoni ha o dangma chiechele we kun oni anutumo osole moji ake obawo nani ko aya ko baba shoshoeshe. Amen.
And there they are. The squad is ready, lined up, ice cold, focused and prepared for national duty. Every bottle in position, every label shining with confidence. And here comes the selection. One bottle steps forward, picked from the squad, ready to deliver for Ghana. He takes the first sip. Oh yes, refreshingly hydrating. The whistle goes. The Black Stars are on the move. He breaks through the defense like flowing water. Beautiful control. He lines it up. He strikes. Goal! Ghana is awake. From the fridge to the field, Awake keeps you refreshed. Awake purified drinking water. One for life. Proudly supporting the National Cardiothoracic Center. This advert is FDA approved.
Are you a headmaster, headmistress, parent, teacher, or an educator looking for high-quality textbooks for preschool, primary, and junior high school students? Look no further than Advocate Publishing Company. Advocate Publishing Company is a leading publisher of educational materials in Ghana that publishes very engaging, interactive, and comprehensive textbooks that meet the needs of students, teachers, and parents. Our textbooks are thoroughly published to make learning fun and easy. They are also designed to stimulate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in students. Make Advocate Publishing your preferred choice for all your educational needs. Explore our range of textbooks and educational resources. Visit us at the old GNTC yard near Kingsway, Accra. You can contact us on 0503 786 776 or 02408 06354, also 0531 600 360, and connect with us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Advo Publishing. Don't settle for less. Choose the best. Advocate Publishing Company, empowering young minds one textbook at a time. Thinking Publishing, think Advocate Publishing.
Finding my dream apartment in just 2 days was a breeze with 7terragh.com. Looking for your next home, the perfect piece of land, or the best commercial property for your business? Are you worried about sending money home for property and finding nothing when you return? Well, worry no more. 7terragh.com is just a platform to find prime lands, perfect properties, or vibrant real estate development at the click of a button. 7terragh.com is your go-to property listing platform that allows you to register, list, rent, buy or sell, and connect with correct agents. With our AI-powered smart search, personalized dashboards, verified agent connection, and interactive property maps, all your property needs have been made easier. Check us out on 7terragh.com or contact us on 0302-998-246 or 0561 032 252. 7terragh.com, powered by MNC Properties.
Mommy, good morning.
Good morning, my son. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Mom. How about you?
I'm fine.
Joe, I just saw your mom doing her usual morning routine. Like, it was just 2 weeks she underwent a major colon surgery.
Bro, see, my mom is doing perfectly fine, and we're all excited about it. It was minimally invasive surgery, and the recovery has been very fast.
Minimally? Hey! No, wait. What do you mean by that?
So they offered my mom a laparoscopic colon surgery. Laparoscopic colon surgery, which we accepted. It turned out it was equally safe with a very fast recovery time, and the cost involved too was very, very reasonable. She was discharged 3 days after the surgery, and you can see her, she's on her feet again.
3 days?
Just 3 days, bro.
Mean Tuber Hospital, first Ghana Colorectal Center, aimed to serve a peculiar health need.
Looking for comfort, convenience, and class all in one place? Welcome to Stay Easy Apartments on Conference Center, where modern living meets exceptional service. Whether you're staying for business or leisure, Stay Easy offers you a home away from home. Spacious and well-furnished apartments, pool, gym, and everything you need to relax and feel at ease. Planning a meeting, workshop, or special event? Our event ground and state-of-the-art conference center is designed to host your events and bring your vision to life. From corporate gatherings to private functions, we provide the perfect space, supported by modern equipment and a professional team ready to assist you. At Stay Easy, your comfort and success are our priority. Book your stay or reserve your space today. Call us at 020-739-1473 or 0244-226367. Stay Easy Apartments and Conference Center. Stay easy with us.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and in a kit one.
Samayo Kendini, a who be here, Semetra Sapapadia to a mammy manful. Kel Charcoal's natural ingredients, and a bomb is several buying, a man is strain, Nesansu Mama Hotel so a will bedroom.
Kel Charcoal Toothpaste. Choose Kel Charcoal Toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth, and fresher breath all day. Available in 80 gram and 150 gram. Grab yours today.
Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Today's class is going to be an exciting one. Now, who can share an unforgettable moment in their life? Okay, Asempa.
I'd like to talk about my first time. It was her natural look, complemented by her favorite green silky apparel that caught my attention. I have to say, she automatically possessed me with her smile, which exposed her beautiful white teeth. That's not all. Her enduring signature perfume could be smelled from afar. Madam, why do you look so surprised? My first time with her was special and irresistible. I'm talking about Cindy Rice. Cindy Rice can be found in selected supermarkets nationwide.
Cindy Rice, sweet aroma, great taste.
This advert is FDA approved.
From the rich soils of Ghana, our farmers grow the finest ingredients. We clean, hand select, and carefully craft into bold, unforgettable flavors. And when you open our little bag of big taste, it's pure, bold, unforgettable flavor bursting in every bite. Enjoy the goodness, made with big care. This advert is FDA approved.
My new girl is coming over today, and I have to give her a treat of her life.
Hi. Hey.
Good afternoon. How are you doing? Fine. I got you a paint. This is Easy Waterproof Paint, the best ever solution for all sort of leakages. I got it for you.
Thank you.
Easy Waterproof Paint can be used on any surface, being it cement, blocks, roofing sheets, swimming pools, and more. It can also be used as primer before you apply any paint to help provide extra protection.
Easy Waterproof Paint. No more leakages.
All right, so you're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. My guests are already seated and the conversation will kickstart in earnest. I promised you before we took that little breather that I was going to share with you the contact number for AH Cafe. Let me do that now. So in case you want to order those sumptuous tasty meals at affordable prices from AH Cafe, please call the number 020 772 0069 020 772 0069 020 772 0069. That's AH Cafe. Call them and tell them that you heard about the wonderful things that you're doing in the area of business and from the Good Morning Ghana team on Metro Television. And so you want to try them, you want to taste their food and see how it goes. And believe you me, you'll be thanking me later. Yes, you'll be thanking me later that I've done you such a a big favor by recommending to you something which is really, 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 value for your money. All right, so my guests are here, as I did indicate, and who are they? Shamima Muslim is, first of all, a journalist, always a journalist. Once upon a time, she was in this seat. So she understands the rudiments of journalism. We go way back. She's like a sister. We don't agree all the time, which is fine. They say even the tongue and the teeth, they fight, but that's fine. But there's that mutual respect. I love her from the deepest depth of my heart. She's a very good woman, has a very good heart. And she has transitioned from journalism to now the deputy presidential spokesperson, Shamima Muslim. She's here with us this morning. Good morning, madam. How are you?
So what do I owe this?
Yes.
Fans this morning.
You deserve it. You deserve it.
You're a dear brother too.
You
but
deserve
you see you know what I'm worried about,
I know,
right?
I know.
Should I say it?
No, please don't.
Okay.
Please don't. There's breakfast for you after the show.
But I'm worried about it.
Oh no, no.
Say you know.
I know.
So
I know.
what deadlines are you giving?
Allah is in control.
He's in control.
Yes.
Okay.
By December, inshallah.
Alhamdulillah.
Yes. We'll make some giant strides.
Giant strides.
Yes.
So I should get ready for December. Okay.
Go. Jake, if you foreign Kelly. When I was about to say foreign Kelly, white shadow. Okay. Yes, jubilation time.
And, proper jubilation. It's good to be here. And
Shama, good to see you. Good to see you. And assalamu alaikum.
Time to join us this morning.
All right. I hope you're doing very well.
I am.
Also joining us is a brother who I haven't seen in a long time. Back in the day when I used to do, and what's the name of my Saturday? The Saturday show that we do here. It escapes me. Inside Pages. Yes. Hey, Charlie. I said, well, Inside Pages. Yes. Now hosted by Michael. Michael. What's his full name? Michael what? Michael Odro. Yes. Sorry about that. Now, he used to be a regular, not a regular, but yeah, from time to time he would join us. But since I moved to this station, which is the Good Morning Ghana, she's been here once, but he's joined us again. Kwesi Kwarteng is his name. Once upon a time, he was the spokesperson for the Education Ministry, and I think he did a good job. I mean, I pay my estimation. But he is also a member of the MPP's communications team. Kwesi.
Yeah.
Chazing.
No, say.
Alhamdulillah.
You don't know how to respond.
Alhamdulillah just means thanks be to God. So this one, no response matter.
Oh, okay.
But I hope you're fine.
Yeah, I'm doing well.
How's the family? How's everybody?
Everyone is fine.
Do you still speak for Ken officially?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought the campaign team had been disbanded.
Yeah, but I was a soldier.
Always a soldier.
I mean, there are some issues that comes up that obviously requires a reaction or response.
Right.
And, most times, I think I find myself in the right place and position to address him. So I still speak for him.
Is it difficult to be spokesperson for Ken Japan?
Let me put it this way. Well, I wouldn't say it's difficult. It gives you an opportunity to learn more. Because Ken is somebody that...
it's an enigma.
If you ask me, you cannot predict.
It's an enigma, isn't it?
I mean, I don't know. I think you are going above my level.
Okay.
So I would say it's someone that you cannot predict. I recall last Saturday we went to a funeral and around Eastern region, I think Odumase Krobo.
Okay.
And whilst we were coming out from one of the rooms, apparently, when you go, they will give you water, welcome you, and what have you. So whilst we were coming out, the crowd started cheering him up. And the announcer at the funeral grounds called his name. And the natural expectation for any normal politician would be at least to pass through the crowd and go and say hi and wave them. I mean, so far as Ken is concerned, it's time for him to leave. He's going to another place. So he just smiled and and moved on. I mean, so he is a complete different being. I mean, but ordinarily we would have expected that a normal traditional politician would have taken advantage of the moment, greet them at least for some political goodwill. But Ken really doesn't matter. He's a bit different, and when you are working for him, you always have to take the moment and opportunity to always be learning. We have put it that way.
I mean, is he a difficult person?
No, I wouldn't say so. Especially if you understand him.
Okay.
I mean, like any other human being, he's not a perfect person.
Yeah.
He has his strengths and his weaknesses. I'm sure his strengths everybody knows, and the supposed shortcomings or weaknesses too, everyone knows. But it just so happens that, I mean, there are also values and virtues that can also be translated into something positive. I mean, there are some times that all of us, some way, somehow also get worried about how he goes about certain things. But ultimately, you realize that he also has a case. But sometimes, I think it has more to do with communication or PR. I'm sure the way I will address an issue will be completely different from how Semema will also address it. Mostly stems from his level of investment, his level of passion relative to that particular conversation. So, I mean, sometimes in terms of how he addresses issues publicly is completely different from what the normal politician would do.
Have you ever had any conversations with him about his style of communication and whether he is unfairly misunderstood when he speaks?
Obviously, I mean, we've had several discussions, not only me, but I recall when we started this campaign. I mean, anybody that, first of all, meets Ken, if we are given the opportunity to talk to him, we will say, oh, Ken, you need to tone down, you need to, because the ordinary Ghanaian expects a certain template of what the politician or what his leader should be. But Ken is like the Trump style. He believes that he must run the show. It is a template that works. And I mean, at some point, we tried to change him, realized that it wasn't changing. And that was the history of Let Ken Be Ken. That it is rather important to focus on his strengths and how the perceived weakness. I mean, if you see somebody is temperamental, people can also see it from a different angle. That this is a guy who is so passionate about getting results. So why don't we rather turn the supposed excesses or the supposed shortcomings into something positive? So yes, we've had different level of discussions, but like I said, Ken is not somebody who. So let me give you one final instance. Recently, we all agreed that he's not having any interview within the media space, especially after the Afari criticism. We realized that there was a pushback from party people. But we're just driving, and we had another interview on his own station. I picked the phone and called them, and he said she herself wasn't even aware when the man did the interview. So subsequently, like, he said he was in his car, he heard how they were saying, he didn't like it, and he picked the phone and called them himself. So it wasn't the journalist who called him, he picked the phone and called them themselves. So you really need to understand him. If you understand him and know his objectives, what he's up to, it's quite easy for you to work with.
But if what you're saying is anything to go by, and the fact that you make it look, I won't say simple, but not that difficult to manage him.
Yeah.
Why do you think your party has been struggling to manage Ken? Because quite clearly they want him to behave in a certain way. You said at some point you tried to get him to behave in that way. But he says, look, this is me. You either like me.
Let me be me.
Yes, and so you couch this, let me be Ken, mantra. So you have accepted him for who he is. And that's how it's supposed to be. People must be accepted for who they are. You just have to manage the people. Why do you think your party's been struggling genuinely? And it appears some people not even understand his philosophy, his mindset, how he thinks, with the things that bother him, the things he's passionate about. Where lies the difficulty in trying to get him to basically tap into his strength, as you rightly said, and forgetting about his weaknesses?
You see, there is one honest truth that we cannot all dismiss. In the ordinary course of things, the criticisms, especially the one he spoke about Ferry, ordinarily wouldn't have been an issue if you ask my honest perspective. But it has more to do with the timing of the message. I'm sure if we were to roll back in 4 years ago or 5 years ago, people would have seen this, including party faithful would have seen this as the normal Ken that we know. Ken doesn't mind who is criticizing. So far as he wants results, he criticizes the NPP, he criticizes the NDC. But sometimes timing may have the potency of changing your true intentions, especially after a very tense contest, flabbergastic primaries. I mean, we all know the back and forth, the trading of insults, what have you, and the long silence of him. If I'm a party member, the natural expectation I would expect is that when you are coming out for the first time in any public commentary, I mean, it would have been a message that ordinarily will appear to promote the party. So at a time when the party feels that they've gotten the NDC on the ground, especially when it comes to this Afari conversation, and they realize that a stalwart of the party is speaking in a different language, which was not even wrong in the first place. It is natural, especially looking at the context of the kind of politics that we play here. You get some pushbacks. So the timing is one important thing. And of course, we also must understand that as a party like ours, especially within our democratic dispensation, if you, as Ken, reserve the right to make commentaries and opinions that you feel are legit, I think it is also important to also extend same courtesies to other party faithfuls who may disagree with you. And the party structures and the party constitution and the values of the party gives room for such disagreements. I've always maintained that strong parties are not parties without disagreements. But strong parties are parties that, in spite of the disagreements, still have the structures to still unite us, and out of the disagreement still agree for the good of the party. So I think it is natural, just like even in our homes, husband and wife, sometimes they will have their own disagreement, but ultimately they still believe in the marriage, they still believe in the value of the family that they are building, and they are celebrating.
Kwesi, something doesn't add up. Maybe you can help me. In the last 1 year and 6 months, your battle cry, or let's say an issue which you have been criticizing this government for, whether rightly or wrongly, is that there is an attack on free speech.
Yes.
And that this government is stifling free speech, even in cases where a judge feels that you have defamed or you're in contempt and the judge takes you on, we say government is attacking free speech. That's fine. It's the kind of politics we play. And your strongest argument, and that's my final question to you before I come to my sister Shalom, your strongest argument has been that, look, it doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what the person says, feels, or tastes like. It doesn't matter how strident that opinion is. Allow the person to be. Okay? Don't take the person on. If you take the person on, it means you are stifling people's ability, which is their right under Article 12, to speak freely. How then do you explain a situation where the same party that has been the true, or they said, advocates of free speech, are now saying that, oh, one of us has decided to disagree with the position we've taken, and so that person must be hanged. We must pay for the person's blood. Okay, and the party people who have been advocating for free speech have serious problems with one of their own for disagreeing with a party position. Help me reconcile these two positions. How? Because I'm confused.
This is a tricky one. Why do I say it's a tricky one? I sit on this platform as a spokesperson for Kennedy Japan on one breath.
Yes.
And of course also as a member of the National Communications team.
Yes.
Where I also have to defend the image and of course the position of the party. So this, I mean, is a quite a tricky one. First of all, I need to set the context properly. But if you ask me, Ken's comment or the comment that Ken made was not necessarily a comment that should be construed as a Ken versus the MPP. For me, it was a comment for an opportunity for the party to reflect, especially when it comes to its reconciliation channels and mechanisms.
Sorry, respectfully, I disagree with you. MPP says we've done nothing wrong.
No, I was coming there. If you had allowed me to, like, you know, your question was very clear and I understood it. I was just laying a foundation. But if you are not interested in the foundation, I can just go straight because of time.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, it is true that we are a party that pride ourselves of free speech. I mean, recently, recall the Bronya incident,
yes,
where the whole party had to organize themselves.
It's not just a point, there's a number of
there's cases. And there's a number of them. But you see, most importantly, the whole beauty of free speech also survives on the broader spectrum of democracy and constitutionalism.
Okay.
So democracy also, and of course, I mean, the principles of free speech also dictates that even when you make a free speech, people are also at liberty to also make opposing or counter free speech, whether or not to make a case whether or not they disagree with you.
How different is this position from what happened to those who spoke and the law took its course?
Yeah, I mean, the law allows that. Okay. The framework of the law allows that.
But you were livid.
No, it doesn't change anything.
Muhammad is evil.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything.
Okay.
You see, context is also very important.
Okay.
Nobody is saying that nobody was saying that the NDC couldn't have taken those individuals on, right? But we are saying that even if we are taking them on, it has to be within the right framework of the law. So that, I mean, free speech is there, but you see, the worst form of manifesting the law is when you hide under the umbrella of the law to perpetuate injustice. That is where we had a problem with, not necessarily to say that nobody should, or we should gag any speech. No, I mean, free speech also goes with responsibility. But to the substantive question that you asked,
yes,
the balance is that within free speech, people can make their comment and their opinion heard. At the same time, the whole principle and doctrine about free speech also allows other people to disagree.
Okay.
So what we are having now in MPP is just a manifestation of democracy, where people, even internally, are disagreeing on one particular position, which is very allowed within the dictates of free speech. But I'm saying that regardless, the party has structures to address same. Recently, have you heard that there has been petitions?
I was actually coming there.
Petitions against him and what have you. Yes, people may disagree. You have the right to make your free speech. Other people also have the right to make their free speech. And that is the whole beauty of democracy, properly so-called, if you ask me. I thought you said that was your last question there.
Well, this last. This one, this is last. Is he perturbed by the raft of petitions that have been filed against him? So is he booted out as a member of the party? In fact, there are some people who have sworn heaven and earth that if Ken doesn't leave the party, they will leave the party.
To be very honest, I have not had the opportunity to peruse any of the petitions.
Okay.
But I'm not sure the petition will come with a recommendation that they should boot him out of the party. Probably the petition will be a petition for disciplinary action.
Essentially sanctioned, yes.
I think from the human perspective.
So there are two groups of people.
There are actually 10 petitions against him.
I get it. There are those. I haven't perused all the petitions, and I must admit. But if I listen to what some of the anti-Ken people or Ken must go people are saying, some of them are saying you should just go. And there are those who are saying punish him. So I agree with you. There are two groups of people.
Yeah. But the point is that, well, of course, to your question, I mean, Ken is a human being. If we are a deeply invested party member like this, very passionate about the party, and you see such petitions against you, naturally you'll be concerned. So that is on that side, naturally you'll be concerned. But I think ultimately the most important thing is the broader interest of the party. I mean, we've always maintained that, yes, the party is bigger than every human being. At the same time, we also have to come into the reality that parties are also run by human beings. If a human being can run a party, it presupposes that the party can also run human beings, because the party are not run by robots. The party are also run by human beings.
Right.
But ultimately, what is the balance? The balance is that we have structures, we have systems to address such disagreements, such concerns. And I have confidence in the Bawumia-led leadership. I have confidence in the executive structure. I have confidence in the party structure. Okay. All that is happening is just a phase. It happens to every political party. And this you could go even from this. It's natural. And so we'll move out of this phase. And I'm confident we'll come out stronger. We'll come here and Samima will be defending the opposition party.
He says he's exhibiting anti-party behavior. Anyway.
Oh, Samima.
No, I'm talking about Ken. Ken Japan.
Anyway, he's
exhibiting anti-party behavior.
Anyway, the disciplinary committee will make a determination.
All right, that's fine. Shams, who will do if you are saying,
Making me fear them. If you ask them, I wish them well. But it's a difficult position, you know, Kwesi is in.
It is.
One leg here, one leg there. And I think every day his loyalty will be questioned. You know, people will wonder where he truly stands. And that might even affect, you know, roles that he's given, you know, within the party itself. But I trust that he'll be able to navigate that, you know, challenge pretty well.
My confidence is in the Lord.
We wish you all the best.
It's a tough situation. Anyway, Shams.
Yeah.
So you people, flood has hit Ghana. Some people have lost their lives. Some people have lost their homes. Some people have lost their property. Why are you organizing a Thanksgiving service when Mr. Mahama by now should have been visiting homes of persons whose places are flooded, should be commiserating with them, perhaps wear his Wellington boots and enter some river and go and rescue some people, act like a fisherman. But he rather chose to be in a helicopter. He was flying and assessing the situation for himself. Your critics, or some, or let me say, your critics, have serious reservations about that. I'll let you respond to that. But be that as may, the daily graphic to this morning says President leads nation in prayer. Festa Abram Kranche, State House National Mosque Accra says, barely days after flood water tore through Accra and other parts of the country, claiming lives and sweeping away homes and livelihoods. Ghana paused yesterday to give thanks. A national ceremony whose usual air of celebration was tempered by the raw memory of loss. President John Dramani Mahama addressed political, religious, traditional and security leaders gathered at the forecourt of the State House for the country's second national day of prayer and thanksgiving. I'll read my last paragraph after this break. Please stay with us.
There they are. The squad is ready, lined up, ice cold, focused and prepared for national duty. Every bottle in position, every label shining with confidence. And here comes the selection. One bottle steps forward, picked from the squad, ready to deliver for Ghana. He takes the first sip. Oh yes, refreshingly hydrating. And here she goes. The Black Stars are on the move. He breaks through the defense like flowing water. Beautiful control. He lines it up. He strikes. Goal! Ghana is awake. From the fridge to the field, Awake keeps you refreshed. Awake purified drinking water. One for life. Proudly supporting the National Cardiothoracic Center. This advert is FDA approved.
Are you a headmaster, headmistress, parent, teacher, or an educator looking for high-quality textbooks for preschool, primary, and junior high school students, look no further than Advocate Publishing Company. Advocate Publishing Company is a leading publisher of educational materials in Ghana that publishes very engaging, interactive, and comprehensive textbooks that meet the needs of students, teachers, and parents. Our textbooks are thoroughly published to make learning fun and easy. They are also designed to stimulate critical thinking, problem solving, and creativity in students. Make Advocate Publishing your preferred choice for all your educational needs. Explore our range of textbooks and educational resources. Visit us at the old GNTC yard near Kingsway, Accra. You can contact us on 0503 786 776 or 02408 06354, also 0531 600 and connect with us on Instagram, X, and Facebook at Advo Publishing. Don't settle for less. Choose the best. Advocate Publishing Company, empowering young minds one textbook at a time. Thinking publishing, think Advocate Publishing.
Hello, my friends. My name is Kelkit Toothpaste.
Wow.
I was made to be gentle on your gum, but protected. I will protect your teeth from cavity, make your teeth whiter, stronger, keep your mouth fresh all day. And best of all, I'm strawberry flavored. So put on a smile and try me.
That's amazing.
Just try me. That's my job.
If you say so, jump on my brush. Makes your teeth stronger, chicky whiter, chicky stronger. Yay! You did it!
I'm glad you like your new toothpaste. Don't forget to brush both day and night.
Kelkits, happy smile.
The Black Stars made their first appearance at the FIFA World Cup in 2006 in Germany. And now, after 20 years, they are here again in 2026.
There was nothing Petacek could do.
Imagine you had invested in Genuine Lands back in 2006. Just imagine how much it will be worth today. The best time to have made investment in land was yesterday. The second best time is now. As you support the Ghana Black Stars to victory in this World Cup, Estate Masters is also supporting your dream of owning genuine land with unbeatable discounts on outright purchases on our various sites. We offer you free site visits and free documentation. Estate Masters, your most preferred estate partner.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson, some more.
Me didn't tontum. Mr. Friendly Calico, just call me cockroach.
Now, Mr. Friendly once now.
Hey, that's you. Improve car. Yeah. Captain Mosquito, double the action. Me did it, Sasso spray. Mr. Friendly Sasso quell. Yeah, go to my Sasso.
Come on, Tom Preko.
Ghana for the second World Cup running, the only Africans left standing.
What's getting a number of good ones? We could take close to 200 doctors. So, Pias and Nampi, challenge today, we jackpot day. We dare live.
He's in the area. He's gone.
Oh,
It's the
Lucky World Cup Sikapuduo promo. Every 11th June, Kosi 31st July 2026. Play and win your share of the 1 million Ghana City jackpot with a minimum stake of just 10 Ghana Cities. 20 lucky customers go win their share of the 20,000 Ghana Cities daily jackpots. Top 10 agents go chop bonus every weekend. Trying to Lucky app, Lucky website. Agent to ana dial *288#. Lucky World Cup Sikapuduo. Kitty one tickets. Yeah.
Auntie, one man no chopo. Blow beyond your mama.
Terms and conditions apply. Play responsibly. Not for persons under 18. Licensed and regulated by the NLA.
Lucky. Play small, win big.
All right, you're still watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television. The show is also live on 94.1 FM, so please tell a friend to tell a friend. The show is also live on radio. And I have Shamima Muslim. She's a deputy presidential spokesperson with us here. She's once a journalist, always a journalist. And also Kwesi Kwarteng is a member of the MPP's communications team. He wears two hats. He also speaks for a former flag bearer aspirant of the MPP, that's Mr. Kennedy Japan. So I took about 20-25 minutes of our time to speak to him about some current developments. Anyway, Shams, I'll start with you now. So,
the question was,
President leads nation in prayer. Why are you praying when people are suffering as a result of the flooding?
Is that not exactly when you need to pray? When there's suffering, you know? Good morning once again to our dear viewers, and once again on behalf of President John Dramani Mahama, we extend our deepest sympathies to the families of all those who have been affected by the devastating floods, unprecedented, levels of destruction to property, loss of lives, and the cost is heavy indeed. And the President recognizes the pain, the suffering that this floods have caused, and how long the road to recovery would be for many average families that have spent all their lives working very hard, truly working very hard to acquire the properties that they have acquired, whether some were self-imposed, whether houses were in places they shouldn't have been. I think for now, that is not what the focus is. And so we extend the President's commiserations with the nation, and as he has announced, the 350 million mitigation and relief support package is already being rolled out as we speak. We also have had support from individuals and corporations that are supporting the immediate relief efforts, and I'm sure we'll come into the conversation of the flooding proper, but this is just by way of recognition that we are in a very difficult time, and it's exactly because we're in a difficult time that sometimes when we are confounded with what life throws at us, we as a people of faith and a religious community, because Ghana prides itself in its religious and cultural values. And all of that teaches us that in times of difficulty, we should lift our hands in prayer to Almighty, from whom we would get some succor and peace of heart and mind in the face of our problems. Last year, when President John Mahama came into office, he did announce that he was going to dedicate the 1st of July, which until then was supposed to be Ghana's Republic Day, which used to be a holiday, which was scrapped later on, but a recognition that this country needed to be committed regularly into the hands of the Almighty God. I think we don't contest that generally. So we all know that it's an annual affair. Every year, 1st of July, we will hold a thanksgiving, a prayer and thanksgiving service to God for how far he has brought the nation and how he continues to keep us together as a nation. I mean, Ghana is a blessed nation, irrespective of what our challenges are, our setbacks are, irrespective of how we have failed to rise to our fullest potential. If you look at where we are, even, at the center of the world, if you look at Ghana's leadership within the sub-region, if you look at how, despite our differences, tribal, religious, political conflicts, somehow, we never go beyond the brink compared to many of our surrounding neighbors. We are within a very volatile sub-region. This morning I was listening to the news and I heard that some of these, what do they call them? The people who are fighting, I don't know whether they are the terrorists from the Sahel area are inching closer into our borders. The word escapes me.
Insurgents.
Yes, we're coming close.
Yeah.
If you look at all of that, and still we as a nation continue to remain together, face the storms, and we still get moments that remind us of our connectivity as a people. We've seen this football season and how all these different lines, were blurred in the face of the flag of this nation. You would know that committing this nation to, God cannot be said to be a misplaced priority. We haven't sunk millions of dollars to build an edifice in worship of God, even though altars are very important. We have just brought this country together every year. So we all know that that is going to happen every year. Now, when the planning committee came up with the theme for this year's celebration, and tomorrow, let's watch what has happened. And you know that this country will be fine. The committee came up with the theme, resetting our values to build the Ghana we want. Long before they anticipated that there will be devastating, they couldn't even have anticipated that there will be devastating floods that will cause such havoc, which diagnosis would primarily also center around our human behaviors, our actions, and our habits. So what time other than the period after the clear evidence of why we need to reset our values?
Yeah.
So I don't know whether the NPP wanted the event to be cancelled, or they are saying that it is not important to commit this nation into God's hands, especially because of what had happened. This platform that we created brought a lot of relief to many, many families. We were reminded that in all things we should give thanks and praise to the Almighty. And if you listen closely to the sermon, I was particularly touched by the message of the key speakers. If you listen to Apostle Dr. Nyamiche's sermon, if you listen to the chief imam's, admonition for us to unite in faith and discipline and to honor the leaders that God himself chooses, because we choose our leaders and we get the confirmation of God, and we must obey the lawful instructions of the leaders that God himself has chosen for us and respect those leaders so that our nation will prosper. And if you listen to the message of the president, let me come back to the 4 things that Apostle Eric Nyamiche, chairman of the Church of Pentecost, shared with all of us as a nation. He spoke about renewing our minds and moving away from our wicked ways. In his sermon, he spoke about the fact that as a religious country that we pride ourselves, and specifically his message was to the Christian community, but of course to the nation at large. And he spoke about the fact that Christians say that they are the majority in the country. And yet, corruption is where it is. Evil doing is where it is. Disrespect is where the value system has all crumbled around the face of, what we tout to be who we are as a nation. So his argument was that we cannot remove ourselves from the corruption we see and feel and speak about, which means there is a disconnect between what we purport to be and what we actually do, and that there's a huge gap between the ethics, the moral codes of our faiths to what we actually practice in real life. And he didn't leave anyone out, from the church community to the leadership community to the everyday Ghanaians that expect, to be bribed before a service is provided. And so we cannot speak about resetting or building a country if we don't renew our minds and our mindsets and our general attitude and approach to the problems that we all create together, leaders and the government alike. The second thing he spoke about was education, specifically bringing back civic education and ethics. Because when we assume that people would be morally upright, we make a big mistake, because behavior is engineered. It must continue to be engineered, reviewed, reset, reevaluated, reminded. We go to church and mosque every Friday because we need to remind ourselves, as human beings, stubborn as we are, we need to remind ourselves constantly of the need to stay on the righteous path. So he advocated a compulsory study of civics so we can bring back love for country. And we can know that to truly love your country, there are some objective indicators. And the foundation must be built on the right values and principles. This message, if the NPP says is not relevant at this time, then it's unfortunate indeed. The third thing he spoke about was directly to the church, and that the church itself needed to refocus its mandate beyond the prosperity, gospel, where over, a long period of time, a lot of the messages is about acquiring material, wealth, and sometimes we don't question where the wealth comes in. Once someone shows up with money, the tithe increases, the contributions increases, and they come closer to the front of the pew in church. All of these things erode our value system. And he says that the church needs to do what? Refocus on its mandate beyond prosperity gospel. The last thing he said, which I agree with, was the restoration of the family unit. I think largely today's world that requires both the mother and the father to be all out there seeking to provide for the family has led to a lot of breakages in our homes and in our family unit, despondency, child delinquency, with its, attendant problems of indiscipline and crime, is becoming the face of our unit. And his message to the Christian community again was that every Christian home must raise an altar. It's the same for Muslims as well, because in our homes we are expected to observe our 5 daily prayers, and the Islamic teachings about family, very, very stringent if we were to observe, the expectations of how a family should look, feel, behave, and, be there for itself. The breakdown in our extended family system, where now it's each and every one for themselves and, God for us all, has brought these problems. So that was the most poignant message we could have heard at this time of crisis, reminding us that all hope is not lost, but reminding us that change will not happen if we do not change ourselves. Yeah. And that this country can never reform if it's individuals and citizens and the people who live and work in this country are unwilling to reform their behaviors and their habits. And that message was reiterated by the message of the National Chief Imam when he called for uniting around faith and discipline and also hard work and integrity and supporting our leaders to deliver. Whoever leads Ghana at any point in time in the hallowed position as the President of the Republic, least we can provide that person is respect and cooperation and collaborating with him to deliver on his mandate. But the Chief Imam also said something which has nuance. He says, and to obey lawful instructions. This is also a message to leaders, that a leader cannot come into office and lord it over its people or her or his people. That the leader's number one duty is to ensure that he delivers to the expectation of the people, not tyranny, not arbitrariness, not discrimination, not wickedness to fellow citizens. And so leaders are also cautioned that if you give unlawful instructions to your people, they will not follow it. So leaders are expected to give lawful instructions. And what that happened? A lawful instruction is that do not throw rubbish in a gutter. That is a lawful instruction. So when you as a citizen disobey that, you're disobeying God, and the consequences of it will become what we have all seen. A lawful instruction is that love your country and be a disciplined citizen, be a righteous citizen, do the right things, don't cut corners. Those are all lawful instructions that if we obeyed as a people, the quality of our lives would improve significantly. And then the president now tops all of this message with his message that reiterated why we needed a new Ghanaian and why this entire reset mandate was necessary. Because until we pause to reflect, to rethink, to repurpose, another 60 years down the line, tomorrow we will deal with these same problems. And you see, the leaders, they will come and they will go. Often we put all the blame on the doorstep of the politicians because we say that they are the ones that hold the public purse. I said recently on social media that the politician is not there in that position for himself or herself alone. That politician is a representative of the people. The people have expectations and they make demands. The people include our religious leaders. The people include our chiefs and traditional authorities. The people include our relatives, extended family relations, close family relations. The people include our friends who will sometimes take a phone and call you and ask you to do something that was clearly not ethical. These are the people that shape the character of our politics. It is all of us. It is not only the politician. And I say that to the extent that the politicians continue to make themselves available for the contest, because it's a contest, and until people who think they can do better make themselves available to that same context, what we have is what we have. So you can condemn and write off, politicians and threaten them that you wait, in the next 4 years, I will vote you out. Every politician that comes into office knows how very limited the time is. And so the thing is not to threaten. The thing is to work together and demand action from day one, from those who have put themselves up for the job. And so I will not sit here in the light of what has happened and say that NPP is wrong for playing politics. I mean, they can swim in the flood waters if they wish. I think that we are in a new Ghana where the average Ghanaian knows what performance is and what performance art is, you know. But I accept that they expect competence from the government of the day, because that is what we offered to do. And that is what President Mahama is, you know, willed to do, to deliver on his mandate to the people of Ghana. And I'm sure it is because they believe that the NDC is competent enough, because if you don't have confidence in somebody, you will not call them, you know, to act. And so we will act. But let's remind ourselves in concluding on the prayer and why it couldn't have happened at any other time other than yesterday.
Okay.
The message of President John Dramani Mahama
Okay.
to this nation.
All right.
He says, just to wrap up on that, he said that Ghana will not be built by only Parliament.
Right.
It will be built in our homes, in our schools, in our churches, in our mosques, in our shrines, on our streets. It will be built when all of us choose to do the right things, when we know the right things. He also said something poignant, that laws can regulate behavior, because laws can say that if you go and steal, you'll be arrested and you will be prosecuted and jailed if found guilty. But laws cannot instill integrity. Integrity is a value system that must be ingrained in us from a very young age. That government can implement programs, which is true, but government cannot legislate honesty or compassion or patriotism. And these are the exact ingredients we need to build any sustainable progress for our nation. Integrity, compassion, patriotism, love for country. And that the change that we speak about, it will not happen by politicians alone. It will happen by all of us choosing to do the right thing. And every action of ours takes us either closer to our collective goal or takes us farther away from the collective goal. So this is the purpose of the National Day of Prayer and Thanksgiving. Prayer that God continue to help us navigate our challenges as a country, overcome our hurdles, grant wisdom to our leaders to do the right thing for this country. Thanksgiving because this nation is still where we are, which is better in comparison to many other nations. Thanks be given because a thankful heart is a heart that is ready to receive more blessings. And so it cannot have been a bad thing to do or a wrong thing to do at the wrong time. It was the right thing to do at the exact time that the many people of this nation needed to know that there is hope once there is life. Whatever has been lost will and can be recovered with the right things. And when we come into the conversation, I will share what the government's plans are moving forward. Thank you very much.
And also, I will be eager to find out the state of the president talked about some emergency National Security Council meeting.
And he's been chairing those meetings.
So I'll come back to you on that. So the WhatsApp line for the show, I must repeat, is 055-863-9114. 055-863-9114. Please share your views and also send us those videos of your community concerns and let us deal with it on the show. Now, Kwesi, let me read something from the Daily Graphic. To give you perhaps context or to give you some premise for your submission or foundation for submission. The nation had not gathered because its problems are solved, but to reflect, that's President Mahama, but to reflect, give thanks and recommit to building. He directly referenced the floods that killed and displaced residents in parts of the capital and urged Ghanaians to draw strength from the scripture, even in grief, quoting 1 Thessalonians 5:18, give thanks in all circumstances. We gather not as members of different political parties, ethnic groups, or religion, but as one people under God.
Moro.
To be honest, I haven't heard the MPP as a political tradition having any issues with the prayer and thanksgiving and its timing. These are pockets of, opinions being expressed on social media. That's why I had to run it by Shamima to pick your thoughts. Yes.
Yeah, so that is where I was coming.
Okay.
But first of all, let me express the sincere sympathies from our flag bearer, Dr. Baumia, to the family that has been affected by families and people that has been affected by this flood incident. And of course, it is also important to also express our condolences to our families that have lost loved ones. Whilst Shamima was making a presentation, I was glancing through most of our platforms. And when I say our platform, I'm referring to the MPP platforms. Usually we get communication briefs and updates to find out whether indeed the party has made any official position with regards to the national Thanksgiving that was held yesterday. I did not find any. So I tried to surf the internet to see if maybe they have made any position on it contrary to what happened, so that I will be guided by such a statement, and I've also not seen it. So it gives me an impression that some way, somehow, maybe because of the kind of politics that we are already doing in this country, Shamima may have been prejudiced on partisan lines. Because at the end of the day, I have not seen any official position of the MPP saying that the national Thanksgiving was a bad thing. But we must also be quick to also admit that prayer alone do not solve our problems. Prayer has to be followed with actions. And of course, comprehensive actions and decisions by leadership before our problems.
Okay, so sorry about this. I don't know if this will represent a party position. So someone just drew my attention to something that Dennis Miracles Abuaji actually put out on social media. It says about 12 people recorded death. Over 38,000 displaced in Accra alone, but our government is in all white dancing. And it says, well. Is that a party position, or this is Miracles?
Well, I'm sure that is Dennis' position. But you see, that will also even be simplistic. Let's also not be evasive of the conflict of culture and religion.
Right.
We are a people of culture. We are also a people of religion. Ordinarily, and in the natural sense of things, usually Thanksgiving and celebrations are synonymous with good omens, not bad omens. So even if, assuming without admitting that even Dennis is even speaking from his own personal perspective or speaking for the MPP properly so-called, I don't think it is also entirely misplaced, especially in a democratic dispensation. People may be aligned to their cultural values. People may also be aligned to religious values. So we need to strike the balance. It is not entirely misplaced. The balance between culture and religion ought to be there. You see, religion will dictate to you that in all things give prayer to God. I'm a Christian. I have no problem with what happened yesterday. But you see, people may also come from the cultural perspective and say that, well, the moment we wear white to signify victory. We wear white to celebrate. So what are we celebrating? So if we become dismissive about...
Sorry about this. Sorry. I don't know why we like to separate religion from culture. Actually, religion is a part of culture.
But the
culture
two,
encapsulates religion as well.
Yeah, but the two can still be separate. Yeah, but it's two, because you will still have the culture of a people not ascribing to a certain particular religion.
I'm not saying culture. I'm not saying culture is religion.
You could get the elements. You could get the elements, but they still overlap. And I'm saying that anybody who even advances that argument is not entirely wrong.
Okay.
Let me give you one scenario. For instance, just like
our traditional culture.
I'm coming. Okay. Let me give you one scenario. Just like, for instance, the conversation about the National Cathedral. That is not to suggest I want to defend the National Cathedral and everything that happened. But I've always maintained that it has more to do with PR. And I'm going to make a case and then make an argument to suggest that even in this National Thanksgiving and prayer, whatever, the whole nomenclature and the team could have been twerked in such a way that will still reflect the mood of the nation.
Okay.
And I'm giving an instance of the National Cathedral. If I was the one leading such a project like the National Cathedral, I mean, everybody in Ghana knows that the state of our Accra International Conference Center is so awful. If I was the one leading the charge, I would have said that, well, this is a time that we need a befitting state-of-the-art conference center, which can also serve the purpose of a national cathedral. In that case, I don't become excessively religious. People are likely to embrace it. People then even agree that they can also even serve two purposes. And at the end of the day, I probably may have the support of the whole nation on all partisan levels and be able to implement whatever cathedral that I have to implement. But you see, the PR about it was that we were building a national exhibition or conference center, which can also serve as a national cathedral. But if you start from the basis of a national cathedral, you may get people who will oppose to it that, oh, we don't have hospitals and you're going to build a church for God where God doesn't reside in church. It's a similar analogy that I'm drawing to this conversation or this argument. Nobody's saying that you cannot pray. Nobody is saying that you cannot celebrate. Nobody is saying that you cannot give a thanksgiving. But traditionally, and looking at our cultural context and the mood of the nation, the natural expectation is that sometimes you could have even twerked the theme of that event, because it is not public knowledge that every year we'll be doing this. It's a public knowledge, and it's as a matter of fact. So we all expected that 1st July we're going to do this, but the expectation is that if leadership is sensitive to the mood of the nation, even the theme of that particular event that was celebrated yesterday could have been twerked. But what? Oh, I get it. Do you let me flow? But now to continue with my point, I think Samima also made a point about she used the word MPP people who go and swim in the floodwaters. In all honesty, I felt it was inappropriate. Shamima is a government spokesperson, not any government spokesperson, but the deputy presidential spokesperson. She's been a journalist of higher repute, and so she's very mindful of words and how words can mean and be interpreted out there. I felt that the use of the word that MPP people who go and swim in it was very inappropriate. You see, I think people lose the whole essence of opposition parties. Opposition parties are parties not necessarily designed to fight government. Within the structure and architectural framework of democracy, it is in the wisdom of the framers of our democratic dispensation, our constitution, that indeed, when it comes to the work of opposition parties, they are very important. So when opposition parties are born and they make criticisms to any event or any situation that comes up, it does not necessarily mean that they ordinarily want to fight government. People living within NDC may have problem with the fact that president used, helicopter to move through the skies. I have no problem with that personally. I felt that there was no better means of assessing the flood situation than what he used. I have no problem with that. But you see, the whole idea and essence of democracy is for people to agree and disagree, and even in the disagreement, still agree. So when people raise matters or criticisms, I don't think it is fair for Shamima, especially looking at the position that she occupies, to then say that they should go and swim in the floodwaters. I felt it was inappropriate. Now let me now come back to the substantive issue. Moro, I have always had a view that anytime we have a conversation about this flood situation, we often at times have a wrong framing of the flood conversation. Mostly, and of course, I mean, reflected in a lot of the arguments Shamima advanced, that mostly we attribute the flood to indiscipline and human behavior. Flood, for me, if you ask me, goes beyond indiscipline and human behavior. That is not also to suggest that indiscipline and human behavior do not affect flood, because, I mean, we all saw the number of rubbers, sachet waters. Of course, I mean, we also cannot be dismissive about the fact that people have built in waterways and other things. But for me, if you ask me, is just a convenient way that politicians used to run away from responsibility and leadership used to run away from responsibility? The conversation about flood for me is more structural. What do I mean by more structure? You see, we must understand that there has been failure of institutions and systems that has brought us here. I mean, that is not to suggest that it's NDC that caused it. I read from social media, I think it was like a graphic publication, that even 1960, there was flood in Accra. So 1960 up to now is how many years now? Why are we still having a flood, recurrence of flood? And now it's even coming a heightened measure. We must understand that when we talk about human beings has demonstrated that they are unable to regulate themselves. Human beings at every point are unable to regulate themselves. If you leave human beings to their conscience or to their discretion, they will always be inclined towards negative behaviors and negative acts. It is the more reason why, as part of the social contract, we will some of our powers to the state to make decisions for us. And so when you see the president say that, it is attitudinal, you have people like Samima say that it is attitudinal, it is human behavior. Yes, it is not entirely wrong.
I think that...
respectfully, Samima, you flowed...
I just want to...
You flowed, I didn't interrupt.
I'm seeking
Even Moro didn't interrupt. Even yours, Moro didn't interrupt. You spoke about 30 minutes. Very well, you proceed.
Just so that you don't keep the narrative that I have said that the flooding is an attitudinal problem.
No, you kept mentioning it's a human behavior.
No, I made a number of points and I told Moro that my substantive presentation on the floods when we come to that, because we're talking about prayer. And the points I made was because of the theme of the prayer.
So you let me react to your preliminary comments so that when it comes to the substantive, we'll talk about it.
You. So just to correct that, maybe
at least you still have the opportunity to come in.
Definitely.
The reason why I understand where she's coming from, you see, she made a general comment.
So right? I'm responding to the general comment so that subsequently we'll come there.
Because you are talking about flooding.
Do you know my submission has been interrupted like 7 times.
Oh, you've been counting.
Yeah, at least 4 from you and 3 from Samima. But when Samima was speaking, when was Samima? Somebody is monitoring, and I'm also monitoring.
I apologize.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, but I still want to forcefully make the point that I'm making, because for me that is the understanding that I had from Samima's presentation, because she turned it to be more of attitudinal or behavioral. And like I was making the argument, I think it was Thomas Madison who put it substantially that if men or humans were angels, then there wouldn't be any need for government. So it presupposes that if you leave the human being to do whatever he wants, certainly he will do things that will be inimical to the state. I have always maintained that every country in the world, right, all over the world, they have people that letters. If you go to America, you have people that letters. If you go to UK, you have people that letters. Indeed, beyond lettering, you have people that will break the planning laws.
Yeah.
It's all over the world. But the question is, why is it that when it comes to these countries, those countries do not always flood, or they do not flood? The answer is simple. The answer is that in those particular countries, there is enforcement and compliance in those particular countries. And so therefore, it supports the argument that I'm making, that when it comes to the conversation about flood, it has more to do with strong institutions and strong systems. And so for me, blaming citizens has always been a convenient way. And of course, I mean, not necessarily President Mahama or Samima. It has always been the general narrative for people. Oh, the citizens are throwing rubbish indiscriminately, citizens are building in waterways. Yes, this is true. But in the first place, if institutions were working, why would the citizens even do that in the first place? So what we are witnessing now, especially with President Mahama's attitude, is that now the president who's supposed to act has now become the complainant in the flood situation. Now the citizens who needs help has now become the accused. Because we are now seeing that the citizens are the ones, their behavior is causing that. And the state institutions and systems that are supposed to take responsibility are now becoming witnesses in this whole flood conversation. And so what happens? State institutions then absolve themselves, leadership find a convenient way to absolve themselves, and then the flood occurs. So for me, I think it's about time, and I'm happy that Samima admits that she is going to elaborate and expand on what their government is doing. I wouldn't sit here, I mean, it would be inappropriate, to be so unfair to blame the NDC for causing this flood. No, flood is not an NDC creator. Flood is not an MPP creator. Flood is a systemic and institutional failure that as politicians and leadership we failed to address. And that, for me, reinforces the point that I'm making, that yes, we should not reframe the conversation, because what happens is that then we'll be evasive about the realities, we'll be dismissive about the realities.
Right.
We need to take responsibility, yes, that in as much as there is a bit of attitudinal, there is a bit of behavioral, the higher and ultimate responsibility rests on leadership. I mean, if you take a helicopter, move through, and then come and tell us the amount of rainfall, who cares about the amount of rainfall? If you come and tell us that it's attitudinal, Moro, I am sure you don't letter. Me, I don't letter. I do not recall the last time in my life that I lettered. I have not built on waterways. I make sure I dispose my refuse so well. But yet still, I am affected and constantly has become a victim of people's attitude and people's behavior, other people's behavior. Why should I be a victim of people's behavior? Because state institutions has failed, because institutions are not working, and because leadership are also finding a convenient way to run away from the problem. All it happens is that it has always been a knee-jerk solution, a knee-jerk reaction. The knee-jerk reaction has always been that, and I need clarity from Simon. This one you may interrupt. I think you mentioned that you've put some mitigation money. You mentioned 350 million. I read 300 million, so maybe for purpose of clarity, which the exact amount that we are talking about, this for clarity, I had 300 million, but you mentioned 350 million. And more, there is one other important point I want to make before we move to the next chapter of this conversation. You see, there is one thing that we are all missing. We are talking about the causes and how we can address with it. I noticed, and I saw some footages where people were grappling for food items and salvaging their goods.
From warehouse.
They're from warehouse, and other people were salvaging their goods, mattresses and other things. Maybe because of I started as a science student, then health student, before I moved into the analogous and humanities. And it's from a basic understanding of science and health. You see, the flood water is not just an ordinary water. So we must be very cognizant of that. The flood water is carrying contaminants, is carrying toxic substances, is carrying microorganisms, is carrying virus and all what you can think of. So even at a time like this, I expected a comprehensive model, a comprehensive communication, even educating people on what we saw on social media. But I mean, that's something we've not heard, because what essentially happens is that you may think that you are picking food items, salvage food items from a warehouse that has been caused by the flood. But what it means, in fact, and in science and in health, is that you are carrying pathogens and how do you call it, disease-causing organisms into your homes. And the sad situation will be when some of these items even find itself in the shelves and in the market, which has been sold to us. And that itself has a whole health implications on us, not to even talk of also the economic implications. Right now, I'm sure government may have to track their budget.
What is wrong with us?
Hey, you remember what I told you, what Thomas Hobbes said? You see, if human beings are angels, then there wouldn't be any, need for government. And I think Madison also.
Must it always be about the stick? Isn't there a role that a carrot also plays?
You see, let me tell you one thing. Let me tell you one thing. The Chinese in China, the things they won't do in China, they come here and they do it.
Anyway.
Because they know when it comes to our general performance on enforcement and compliance, we are extremely poor and we are extremely low.
Which is, if we do the wrong things.
The things we will do in Ghana, when we get to America, we won't do the same thing. So the human being, I have never believed, nowhere in the world do people leave development decisions and compliance to the discretion and conscience of human beings. Nowhere. It's just like when people say, there is poor maintenance culture. Nowhere in the world do we have poor maintenance culture or good maintenance culture. Everywhere there is maintenance budget and maintenance personnel. So in the same or relatedly, when we're having a conversation about flood, nowhere in the world the human beings would you say that human beings should live by their conscience. It is when state institutions are working and when enforcement and compliance is apt, that is where human beings act. So in this situation, as soon as the footages came up, what was the state's response? What was the institution's response? I mean, I wouldn't even want to make this political, because sometimes it's just a convenient way for the state institutions and civil servants to run away from responsibility. What has been their response? Was there any interception? Has there been any public communication on it? have the security tried to do anything? Who went in to stop them? Because for all this, genuinely people don't even know that they are carrying pathogens. You go and pick a tin of 10 tomato. Sometimes you may probably even get 20. In your local area, they will go and sell it to that woman with the kiosk, blue kiosk there, and they will sell it to you. And you have no idea the amount of pathogens and disease-causing organisms that you have taken into your homes.
You see, I get it when you say that the laws must work. I agree with you.
Yeah.
We must enforce them. But don't you also think that there's a role that civic education must play? Look, you've sat here in the last 10 minutes, and what you've been doing is to educating the people on the consequences of their decisions. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm saying that, yes, I agree with you, and I don't think that anybody will split hairs or litigate this point with you about.
There is someone is right. I'm sure she's coming to disagree.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, I've known her. I know where she stands philosophically. My point is that our people ought to be conscientized in as much as we ought to punish them when they do the wrong things. You don't think the two must go hand in hand rather than just punish. I mean, there are some things that you must punish. Some things you must educate the people about.
No, I agree. I agree. I mean, I'll be dishonest to dismiss this.
Yes, because these things you're saying about the things they are collecting from that running friend is saying water. Mm-hmm. The food, the cans and things they're picking up. They don't even know what they're picking. They don't even know the health implications.
But you see, ignorance, let me cite an example. Yes. They say ignorance of the law is no excuse.
I agree. That's
there will be people who will not know that sleeping with a young girl less than 16 years is defilement. When the law catches them, do they plead ignorance?
No, the law doesn't care.
So in this, relatedly, when the people doesn't know what they are doing, you still expect. Because see, the consequential effect of their decision does not affect them alone.
Yeah.
The consequential effect of their decision. More will be sitting in metro here, they will come and sell some tomato to your wife.
I agree. So do we just punish them or we must educate them?
Yes, there has to be the balance. The balance is there, but I'm not sure really it's about. I don't think my argument is really about necessarily punishment. That's why I said that if systems and institutions are working, some of these things will be able to avert them. Sometimes you may not be able to avert them, but even your response to same also demonstrates how, I mean, people will measure you when it comes to your commitment and your understanding of the whole problem.
You know, we just have about 25 minutes, so I'll split that between the two of you so that I'm fair. You would have your take, and then the 10 minutes now, I can do 5 minutes each. Is that okay? All right.
So how many minutes is he doing now? So that because
no, you time him on his.
So can I read a few minutes, just for a few minutes, just for a few minutes? Reverend Samuel J says, "Good morning, Moro. In every situation, either good or bad, it is important to give thanks to God. The reason is that even in bad situations, it could have been worse than whatever happens without the intervention of God. That's why yesterday's Thanksgiving was very, very necessary. So in this regard, I disagree with Kwesi."
But I didn't say it is not important. I even said I'm a Christian, so I agree.
No, I agree. But it was because you said those who also have issues with this, you see where they're coming from. And so I'm sure that.
I said they are coming from the culture perspective, so the balance should be there.
So I'm sure that's where he's also coming from. Musa Abatwa in Asawasi says, "Good morning, Moro. It is nauseating listening to this crop of minority MPs. They are making politics unattractive by politicizing every issue. Opposition does not mean exploiting every tragedy for political gain. At a time when lives have been lost to flooding, Ghanaians deserve empathy and solutions, not reckless criticism. Their press conference was needless, unhelpful, and added no value. My regards to Dr. Anoba, for incoming National Vice Chair of the NDC." Now, so those of you who have been sending us messages to our newly advertised WhatsApp line, I'm going to read your messages now. So Najib Mohammed Sani says he's a former NDC aspirant for Ayawaso East constituency parliamentary candidate. He says the way filth has engulfed the capital after this downpour is a national emergency. Our gutters are choked, plastic everywhere, still blocking drains. So I'm making a suggestion to the government of Ghana to declare tomorrow being a holiday as a national cleanup day. So every citizen should come out with brooms and shovels. That sounds like it's not a bad idea. But with the guidance of MMDAs, and they should also provide collection points for the citizens. One day of cleaning together can save lives and millions in flood damage. And it says, "Thank you." I recall under John Mahama, there was Sanitation Day. Okay. At the time, I think it was Julia Debra was in there. And I think the president actually promised he was going to bring it back, so I don't know. Anyway, so Kwame Shotosh, I believe, from Amsterdam, says hosting a national Thanksgiving 2 days after disaster is an egregious misstep that projects tone deafness and a failure of empathy. Forcing festivities on a grieving populace diminishes their trauma, elevating state optics and empty formalities over the urgent, tangible needs of affected citizens. We need to be serious as a country. Kwame Shotosh from Amsterdam. Francis Edwards says that, good morning, I always watch you from the UK. Mura, I will ask this question a million times. People complain of attitudes when refuse, trash are thrown into gutters, etc. Mura, my question is, where are the dustbins? I'll ask this question a million times. The fact is, people do not know where to dump their waste. The simple solution is have dumping sites and provide thousands of dustbins, period. Secondly, toilet facilities around all vulnerable communities and use seawater to flush. Common sense. The cost of one V8 car can construct tens of modern toilets facilities. Francis Edwards from the UK. Asanko Santa Maria says, I wonder what the NPP are making attempt to come to power for. To mismanage the economy, to a junk status through recklessness, corruption, arrogance, and all the negative things they did, or what? Asanko Santa Maria. Now, Abona David Etia says, good morning, Mr. Kwesi Kwarteng. I think it's not prudent to keep portraying yourself as Ken's spokesperson under this circumstance. MPP has elected their presidential candidate for 2028, which is imperative for any single party member to rally behind him for the party's sake and the good people of Ghana. Don't forget that our communication carries weight in the party. I must compliment you for that. He didn't come here as spokesperson for Ken, and I need to state this correctly. He came here as a communications member of the NPP. Except, of course, journalists, we like to probe. We're curious. I was asking him some questions based on his association with Ken. Okay? So he speaks for Ken, not in Ken's capacity as a flag bearer aspirant. As Ken, in his private capacity, is a businessman. He speaks for him. So we must make that point correctly. I don't know. Anyway, so so this one from Prince from Segada says, good morning, Moro. I think we should put politics aside and find the best way to address the issue and stop the blame. We, the citizens, are the cause of the problems and contribute 90% of it because we never learn from our past, but rather do the same thing over and over again. Let us change our mindset. And please tell Titus to look for a platform for his politics. So this one was yesterday's message. I want to apologize for that. Just this morning, I saw on social media, there were some guys who were walking around the Chadu area. They saw a family. They had carried plenty rubbish. They were going to dump it into whether it's a gutter or I don't know what it is. We're going to dump it in there. And the guy said, why are you doing this? And they said, oh, we're doing this for the last time. Unfortunately, I didn't download that video. Just yesterday, they're going to dump rubbish just right behind their house. And then when the police gets flooded and they flush their house, they say everybody else wrong. As for them, they've done nothing wrong.
It is wrong framing that this current flood is about rubbish. It's not merely rubbish. No, it's one of architectural structure.
No, it's one of it.
I agree.
It's one of it. No, I'm not attributing the flooding to only sanitation.
It's so it's me for SUV.
It's a multiplicity of factors, but we cannot take away
our attitude towards sanitation. Been framing it on sanitation. Yes. It's not entirely sanitation.
Yes.
Let's broaden the conversation.
And this one here from Ali Hureya, NDC aspirant National Zugo Concourse. He says flooding in the capital city has become more likely like a festival because of our behavior. Meanwhile, we're blaming the politicians. Ismail Hureya. And he says, bro, the politicians have to know that they are allowing the citizens to take advantage of them by not coming together on certain issues like this. Well, look at this. Look at this. When was this?
This is
the filth. Yeah, the waste. Hey!
Yes.
Yeah, but we're generating all this and we're not collecting them.
Yes.
Oh,
and we're throwing it into the gutters.
Ghana. Anyway.
It is not.
Kojo Tumbo, and I'm not going to read for them. Yes. Anyway. So Kojo Tumbo, I'm going to read this and then I'll come to Shamima. Good morning, Moro. Every year, we allow situations that are easily preventable to create force majeure situations for us. There are many confined aquifers in Accra. We know this because everyone can dig a borehole when they need to. So an artesian drainage system with relief wells to trap the runoff and store water will be a good way to start. Ultimately, we may need to design levees, but the problem is hydra-headed now. So let's begin with the most obvious solutions. It's not simplistic as I make it sound because the path of the runoff carefully needs to be mapped, but the engineers will know what to do. So today the MP can complain that the president has gone to a Thanksgiving service at a time of national tragedy. That's rich from the same people whose president used to tell us this too shall pass. Okay, all right, Sham.
Well, thank you.
Can we do 5 minutes each?
Oh, more. He spoke about he spoke a lot about the flooding. I've not spoken about flooding. And there was a lot of misrepresentation. No, my first presentation was on the national which you asked
the flooding in.
I didn't slaughter
No, not really.
You know, I made references to make a point.
Yes.
So what has happened this morning is he's setting his own questions and going on the narrative that they have agreed upon, which is okay. Like he's reminded us, opposition is expected to be opposition. We don't have a problem with it. As I said earlier on, we accept their invitation to deal with the issues competently. And it's not only their invitation as members of the opposition. It is what is expected of us as a government that asks for a job from the people of Ghana. And we, unlike them, will never parry that responsibility. President receives that expectation wholeheartedly and is on the ground to see how we have resilient solutions to this problem. To look at the matter, so I'm not going to,
the causes and things,
the narrative of wanting to, listen to how he did it very nicely. He would say that, he will make the point. He said, I'm not saying it's an NDC problem alone. I'm not saying it's a Shamima problem alone. Then he goes on to say that leadership is running away from the problem. Well, I'm not saying that it's an NDC problem alone. So he tries to lay the blame in the same vein, try to give himself a semblance of accepting some small responsibility. And that's the problem he might have with the party philosophically, because it is the minority leader that led a press conference that fully laid the blame of, what has happened in this flooding situation and flooding season at the doorsteps of the NDC. And so he's going to have philosophical problems, because if he's sitting here conceding that the NPP cannot wash its hands off the problems that we are experiencing today after having left office, an 8-year mandate, and his leaders are saying the opposite thing, that's a clear indication of where their communication is going to go. Back to the issue. There are 3 things we must deal with now as a government, which in fact, the president himself has been chairing the task force strategy sessions on a rollout. And so the full communication, this morning I was speaking to my boss, they are going into the 3rd day meeting today. And so we should expect any time soon a clear communication of what the medium to longer term execution plans, not preparation plans, execution plans, because there is no longer any mystery around what needs to be done. And so beyond the immediate things that need to be done, people have lost homes, property, they do not have places to lay their head. Many of them are not able to quickly go back to their homes. So government's immediate focus is to deploy the relief packages and try to help people relocate to temporary places. A lot of the extended family and friends have come in. Many families, many friends are hosting colleagues that have, borne the brunt of the flooding situation. So immediately, as we're doing now, is to send out the relief items and to, second, deal with the desilting. So in our first response, we know what the solution set is, and we need a number of things to execute. Primarily, what we don't have control over and what we have control over. What we don't have control over is natural disasters. What we don't have control over is floods and rainfalls occasioned as a result of changing climatic conditions or situations that are global in nature in terms of the flooding that all our neighboring countries have, received. We don't have control over that. What we have control over is our preparation, our mitigation, and even our preventive plans, so that the effects of natural disasters do not become as devastating as we have seen, that we have control over. So what do we do? Number one, 3 things I have said. We know what to do. Number 2 is we know what we need to do what we have to do. And then we have an assessment of the risks and rewards for doing what we need to do. The consequences of demolitions, the consequences of clearing waterways and wetlands, we know that. And then the last thing, what government needs to communicate. So when we come back to the most important things, what must it take to do what we have to do? I think that's been the question. I am no longer, as a communicator, interested in saying to the NPP, what did you do with the garage money? Because we are a government in office. If there is any wrongdoing, if there's evidence of misappropriation, of fraud, the Attorney General should be acting as we speak to call the people at the helm of affairs to order. So I'm not interested, they are interested in playing politics, but as a government today and as communicators, we are not interested in that game. We leave it to Attorney General if something wrong was done, because what Ghanaians need today is relief and what looks like a solution. And what I hear is going to happen is a decentralized approach to finding the solution to this problem.
Okay.
All districts, metropolitan assemblies, municipal assemblies are going to have their real-time, action plan to, first of all, deal with the blocked waterways. And I came across a very comprehensive, thoughts from someone who has visited Ghana 5 times. He calls himself, he's Eric Blowett or whatever. From 1999 to 2025, he has come to Ghana 11 times. And he shared some really poignant things that require to be done like yesterday. So we need the courage and integrity as a ruling class to deal without fear and favor everyone and anything that is partially, wholly responsible for the devastation that we have seen.
She's done 7 minutes.
Whether they have political leanings, whether they are politically linked, we need the courage to act like today. And some of us will be demanding that kind of action. When it comes to demolishing the buildings on waterways, we need to act with integrity consistently. Then the second issue is resources. And we cannot run away from the issues of resources. That is part of the problem why the desilting process weren't completed in many of the district assemblies. Resources mean manpower resources and financial resources. Because everything that we need to do, the infrastructure reorganization that needs to happen requires money. In the face of competing interests, how much would be enough to allocate to dealing with this problem? And the problem is we cannot always wait to begin to fix the issue when we are live. So we ought to have been able to raise the necessary resources to do major works in terms of the desilting and the clearing of the pathways. Moro, you have shown videos here of the Greater Accra Regional Minister. When people say that nothing has been done, going around the demolishing sites, the attacks we got from citizens, mobilizing and crying and saying that there was no human face, the media re-echoing some of these sentiments, that there cannot be a human face in the face of some of these things. Pain will happen. The human thing we can do as a government, and I hope that the task force will include it, is to be able to find alternative places temporarily for people who lose their homes to demolitions. But there is evidence of work that was being done across Intema, Ebi Bright.
Yeah.
You watched them. The demolitions proud the rains. What I think we didn't expect was the volumes of rains and the works that were not fully completed. And that's an honest admission. And into the next space, we require the necessary resources, and this I'm advocating strongly on behalf of the MMDCs, that we need to give them the resources to be able to do what needs to be done, because we do know what needs to be done. And then the third thing is to have an honest conversation about the role of Zoomlion and other waste management companies. We may have a challenge with Zoomlion in certain areas, but if I hear that Zoomlion owns and controls like 90% of dumping sites, how do we work with Zoomlion whilst we seek accountability from him with some existing contracts he has with the state, so that the rubbish, when gathered, would find a place of final rest and not in our gutters? So that conversation would have to happen, an honest conversation, with the capacity of other waste management companies and Zoomlion, and how we find a workable balance that will not ultimately lead to the kinds of devastation that we have seen. The risks and the rewards, as a government, we are aware. The risk of implementing this plan that we are about to roll out would mean negative sentiments from some quarters. And so we invite the media, we invite civil society. In fact, we invite all MMDCs to organize, town hall meetings and communicate clearly what needs to be done. And this is the right time to do it.
Right.
When the consequences of non-action is glaring for all of us to see.
Right.
Where we are able to see the devastation of non-action and how we cannot continue on this path. Because that house that you have slaved away to build is no more in some areas. All the furnishings in your home are no more because of these kinds of issues.
Okay.
And so we expect these kinds of action. The risk to us as government, we know that we are going to make sections of the citizens unhappy because they would lose. But ultimately, it will be good, it will be in the ultimate good of the broader society.
Okay.
The reward of acting is that we find a lasting, resilient solution to this perennial annual problem. And we will then be able to do what? Manage, not completely solve floods and other natural disasters, but we'll be able to manage as the man had said. Okay. So what are the things that we are working to communicate that people have to become aware of? That extreme rainfall cannot be fully drained by infrastructure alone. That is also a reality check.
Right.
That's, some of the technical people have told us. And no matter how well we design it, the evacuation of that amount of rain cannot be soaked away by whatever even wetlands that we have. What has happened is that we need to slow the process. Unfortunately, if you look at Ebri, people are building. So in the past, the time duration from when it starts raining for the runoff water to make its way to the city was a bit longer. So by that time, the water is dissipated and the volumes becomes, right now, is almost like a flash flood. The rain starts and within minutes or seconds, we are inundated, downstream.
Yeah.
And that is a problem. Also, the issue of the wetlands and the lakes that have been blocked for buildings to be put on.
Okay.
These are the difficult decisions that will be made. Building permits, those who grant them and those who take them knowing that they are building on waterways, the law must be made to work. And then other structural issues, educating the public about rainwater harvesting, because that is another major aspect. We must figure out ways to harvest some of these rainwater.
Okay.
So that it doesn't inundate our buildings.
All right.
In the meantime, we would ask everyone to please reach out to NADMO if you need any help any relief items. And I think if your producer can put the number
we do that all the time. We'll repeat it.
Please repeat it. So in the meantime, if you need a temporary place of abode, if you need any, material help, please call NADMO and they will come to your aid. The wetlands must be restored.
Okay.
The natural infrastructure that are now on waterways, no matter what they are, whether they are hotels, whether they are homes of Kwesi Kwarteng and some of his leaders, whether they belong to politicians, to chiefs, to imams, to pastors, without fear or favor, communicate which buildings are on waterways transparently at the district level, so that when work is being done, the government would then not be accused of engaging in what? Discrimination.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, if we fail the people, and if there's no evidence that we were able to execute the plans we know we have to execute consistently,
all right,
we will not blame, and I will not blame anybody, including Kwesi Kwarteng, if they call us out.
All right.
Because that is what it should be.
All right. Shams, let me do this. I need to do this. So the government chair has issued a statement. Kwesi and the Shamima, the government has issued a statement. I'm just going to end the show with a statement. You know, both of that, you've done 2 bites each, so I think that should be fine because we have to go for another program. Let me read this. Let me read this.
Look, you said we're giving us 5 minutes each.
Hold on.
Spoke for 17 good minutes, and you say you're going to end the show.
No, when you do this, you spoil the show.
But you are spoiling it yourself.
No,
you said we're going to give us 5 minutes.
Relax.
You're going to give us 5 minutes. Because Shamina spoke for 17 minutes, and now you are saying we have 2 bites. Where was my second bite?
Relax. Let me do
this. These are the points I wrote. You sat here for the lady to do 17 good minutes. She started 16.
Relax. Relax.
How many minutes did you do?
Relax. So the government chair has issued a statement. The government chair is a very good friend. You don't even want to hear from him. I'm surprised. Now, it says that to all media houses, we must unite as a nation to tackle Accra's perennial flooding. Statement from the government chair, Kintaki Tekochru, the second, and the Ga Traditional Council on the recent floods in Accra. The government Kintaki Tekochru II and the Ga Traditional Council have taken careful note of the persistent challenges posed by Accra's perennial flooding, as well as the renewed efforts by government. The Greater Accra Regional Minister, Honorable Linda Obenewa Akwele Oklu, NADMO, Metropolitan Authorities and the Security Services to address this issue with urgency, discipline and foresight. We extend our deepest sympathies to all families, traders, motorists and communities affected by the recent rains. We also commend the dedication of public institutions, emergency responders and citizens working tirelessly to safeguard lives and restore normalcy. As custodians of the land, we emphasize that flooding in Accra is not solely an engineering challenge, but a matter that demands collective responsibility, adherence to land use regulations, improved sanitation practices, environmental stewardship, and respect for natural waterways. The Ga Traditional Council therefore reaffirms its unwavering support for sustainable and practical interventions aimed at protecting drainage systems, preventing unlawful development on waterways, promoting community-led sanitation initiatives, enhancing public education, and strengthening collaboration among government agencies, district assemblies, traditional authorities, faith-based organizations, business, youth groups, and residents. We further commit to leveraging our traditional authorities and structures to promote behavioral change, civic responsibility, and a shared sense of duty among all stakeholders in order to safeguard the safety, dignity, and heritage of our capital city. While the rains will inevitably continue, we are confident that through unity, effective enforcement, strategic planning, and disciplined action, the impact can be mitigated and the recurring devastation prevented. Signed, Evelyn Amewoche, I hope I got that correctly, Registrar, and it's for His Royal Majesty King Taki Tekochru II, Ga Manche, and President of the Ga Traditional Council. What a statement. This is a good one. It's a very good statement from the government chair. I think it's put it all in its proper perspective.
It's a shared responsibility, but leadership must lead.
All right.
And that one we cannot...
We cannot run away from that. All right.
No, we can't.
So Kwesi, let me cheat you small.
It's not. Is it a cheat? Then don't cheat him.
He actually wanted to say so 1 minute. That's what I'm saying. I want to cheat him.
Then don't cheat him if it's a cheat. But if it's fair that he spoke first and then you came to me on National Thanksgiving, then he spoke on National Thanksgiving even. No, in fact, he spoke on flood before I came to speak on flood. And so don't say it's cheating. If it's cheating, then be fair to him.
He asked him for the 1 minute.
No, he didn't ask. He said that you said you were going to give each of us time, 5 minutes. But yet, he forgets he spoke for 20 minutes. He insists that I spoke for 17 minutes.
All right.
He forgets he spoke for 20 minutes. So, no problem. You can give him 1.5 minutes and give me 1.5 minutes because we all spoke on the same thing.
Okay.
He spoke on water and I came to speak on water.
Let me dash you some 3 minutes.
I am happy that I am happy that whatever we are discussing here is not just left to the corridors of this studio and Ghanaians are watching.
Yes.
I leave everything happening here to the judgment and good conscience of Ghanaians, whether or not I've been treated fairly on this whole subject matter of the flood, where the host said he was giving each of us 5 minutes. Shamima, maybe because he's in government, ended up having 17 minutes.
Is that what you said?
And today, they are now trying to do a trade-off of 3 minutes. Let it be on record. And again, recall when I was speaking about that flood is not merely an attitudinal problem. The producer was so quick and smart to insert a video of some garbages to suggest that contrary to what I'm saying. You should also put the Garrett picture there so that we can also see same. But you gave me 3 minutes. I will still make use of it. I will not run away. I'm a fighter. I'm a warrior. Let me.
His boss's thing is entering.
It's fine. You won't displace me. Whether my boss will say, let me make
Please go ahead.
First of all, let it be on record that there is something called Garrett that I was expecting Shamima to speak about it. And she creatively and smartly ran away from that. Why? Because the World Bank, I mean, you ask, what does the Garrett money? There is going to be accountability. You've been in power for almost 2 years. If you see we spend Garrett money, would have come after us. But for the record, the World Bank has said, and please, you can just take your phone and Google, World Bank blames Finance Ministry's physical controls for delays to Garrett flood projects. So let it be on that record. It is not us. It is your own fiscal policy. This is a statement of fact. It's online. All media houses have reported it. Now, to the ordinary layperson like myself who want to understand the Garrett conversation, this is it. You see, when MPP Akufo-Addo came into power, prior to that, in 2015, we had lost about 152 Ghanaians, citizens, through the Circle flood and fire that unfortunately visited us. So what we did was a very proactive decision. What the President Akufo-Addo did was to set up a sub-cabinet committee to investigate this whole flood and understand the flood situation. Consequently, we invested about 550 million in emergency flood relief and drainage interventions over 8 years. About 550 million. I have been able to tell you what we have done. Beyond that, our administration was able to secure, respectfully, our administration was able to secure $200 million seed money for the Garrett project. Indeed, we started, and Henry Cote has come out with the figures. He said we were supposed to build 18 ponds and about 40 infrastructural projects that is going to mitigate the flood situation. That's why I made a point that flood is not really only about attitudinal behavior.
Nobody has said
your own people have said that 7 regions have been involved with flood.
Nobody has
all of them. Is it an issue of Samima, you keep disrupting me. Let me land. What the point I am trying, and I'll make it forcefully. The point I am making is that there was also an additional 150 million for the Garrett project. The Garrett project essentially is to say that we are constructing engineering architectural projects that will be able to solve our flood situation once and for all. When you came, the World Bank today has accused you that your own finance ministry, their decisions, actions and inaction has stalled the rest of the projects.
Okay.
So you don't then make a U-turn and come and blame us. It is the more reason why from day one I have been advancing an argument that they are finding a convenient way to now blame citizens and make it look like, oh, with a citizen's attitude, there are buildings in waterways.
2 years ago, we were doing our buildings in waterways.
Okay.
4 years ago, we were doing our buildings in waterways. 8 years ago, when we came into power, the entire 8 years, we were doing our building in waterways. So we're doing our fields in this country. Why is it that we didn't report the fraud that we were having? You came, respectfully, you came and cancelled all Zoom Lion contracts.
Unfortunately
you came and cancelled all Zoom Lion contracts.
Unfortunately for him,
and gave the contract to the MMDCs.
We were supposed
to.
You see,
do not have the capacity.
You see, this is what they do. Because you see, when you are okay,
I am suggesting.
Thank you. We have heard you. Can I also just to be fair and not to cheat? You've done that.
After the 3, you are still giving her another minute again.
Tomorrow, you see, it's very good. He kept saying
I have seen that you are biased towards me. You want to protect the interests of government.
He kept saying
I have seen that you are in bed with Samira. You are in bed with Shamima. And I'm scared.
My name.
Samira, listen, I used to be listening to you when I was in school.
Tomorrow, have you heard what he said? We were supposed to. For 8 years they were supposed to, and we are where we are today.
Did it.
You know,
I have
he kept saying,
I won't let her repair her case. I won't let her repair her case.
Because unlike them, I have desisted.
We've got you money. You can't even spend the money.
Unlike them, for 8 years. That's why I kept saying that if NPP had all the solutions to our problems and sat on them for 8 years, that they were very wicked though. And yet we are where we are. And we are where we are.
She's misquoting me.
We're right here. We're right here.
You know, this is what they do.
Not sports, actually, not sports.
We accept responsibility.
Ghanaians should look at Moro. Moro is the one cheering Shamima on.
Never blame.
Giving Shamima all the time.
The Ghanaian people know who is responsible for where we are today.
Okay.
Supposed to, for 8 years they were supposed to.
I mentioned 550 million invested.
It's like the 50 million you spent. The 50 million you spent in that national cathedral.
All right.
Every money you spent, but we cannot see the evidence of it.
Good morning.
All right.
Honorables, good morning. Yeah, I'm trying to greet them. Yes, so. Yes, good morning. I'm trying to greet you, honorables. Good morning.
Yes.
Honorable Kwesi, good morning.
Us to come into office.
Oh, good morning.
Continue with all their bad behaviors.
No. Good morning. Good morning.
Audit everything.
No, but I'm greeting you.
And they have a problem with it.
All right, Shamima.
All right,
Shamima. Good morning to you.
My guest today won't allow me to bring you in.
I'm wondering what's happening because I didn't expect it to go this way. I'm talking to you. No, please.
Your namesake is calling.
Shamima, all right. So your namesake is calling you.
Yes.
Good morning. How is your morning so far? How is it going?
We are doing what Shamima wants to patronize me with gentlemen.
All right, a quick one. Honorable Kwesi, a quick one. This is the Schools Homecoming show coming up in some few minutes. Yes, the Schools Homecoming show is coming up in some few minutes, and I'm going to go straight to you. I mean, in your time, substance abuse, how did you handle it?
Senior high school.
Yes, please.
You see, during our time in school, it wasn't something that you could visibly show it. By this time, I look at people are even proud of it. Recently, I read the statements from the security service. They said about 7,000 people tested.
Yeah.
And it looks like we are almost educating ourselves in doing vessels. To the extent that things that we were so much afraid of. Because when we were in school, it was so much of a big deal.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, we used to say
it's not a normal thing.
It's almost a normal thing. But so our time from Konongo Massive days, I mean, yes, obviously we may have situations like that there, but it wasn't as rampant as we have today.
All right, thank you very much. And Shamima, finally and briefly, with your term when you were in school, senior high school, how did it go? How did you handle it?
We didn't have.
It's always asked for Holy Child.
But now the problem is that we are seeing young girls smoking and puffing. I don't know whether it's cigarette or is in Tampi or whatever, and they are taking videos of it. So drug abuse obviously is no longer a male-dominated problem. Now we are seeing a lot of women and girls also in it. When we did this, we watched this documentary on that thing that they are taking. What do you?
The vape.
Not even the vapor. The one that will make you stoop, like you are sleeping.
Is it tramadol?
The red.
Tramadol, the red. No. We saw worrying.
In your time, it wasn't there.
Mothers. There was one video. The mother was entirely stoned, and there was a child beside it. So it's a big problem. I think that's why the president also yesterday used the occasion of the National Prayer and Thanksgiving Day to
You
admonish
want to
young
score
people,
political points from it.
to admonish young people that drug abuse is harmful, and we must all Kwesi, if you've not had an
So everyone wants to score points
All right,
everywhere.
Honorable, thank you very much.
if you've not had an experience of a drug addict in your family, maybe you laugh at some of these things. Some of us, we can't laugh about it because we've seen it in close proximity. And so it is
That's why the president has to
something
intervene.
we must continue to advocate for and try to find better productive pathways for our children.
All right.
And I'd like to also end by advising my brother here that when they don't agree with the message, they should stop attacking the messenger. The way he has attacked Moro this morning is unfair. As a result,
Stop this blackmail.
All right,
Stop this blackmail.
All right, thank
Everybody
you
that
very
was
much.
watching, so
I
now
really
go
do
to
appreciate
Stop
your-
blackmail. Stop
All
this
right,
blackmail.
thanks very much.
Stop this blackmail.
Moro.
Stop this organized.
Moro, thank you very much. Thank you, together with your panelists. All right. In some few moments. Yes?
Disco. Yeah.
Finding my dream apartment in just 2 days was a breeze with 7terragh.com. Looking for your next home, the perfect piece of land, or the best commercial property for your business? Are you worried about sending money home for property and finding nothing when you return? Well, worry no more. 7terragh.com is just a platform to find prime lands, perfect properties, or vibrant real estate development at the click of a button. 7terragh.com is your go-to property listing platform that allows you to register, list, rent, buy or sell, and connect with correct agents. With our